The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Current and Joseph Christina as they serve up the hottest photography news and commentary.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 169. I'm Joseph Christina here with my co-host Trevor Current. On last week's show, we talked about Shutterbot and Android DSLR remote control, Canon telephoto lens snaps in half, the Pronto battery charger, and a listener question about which lens to buy. If you haven't watched last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it at digitalphotographycafe.com and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/dphotocafe. Listen with the popular Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox music apps, or subscribe through iTunes or RSS.
Hey Joe, we are back. How you doing?
How are you doing? Another week. You went to PhotoPlus Expo, and I was not able to join this year. I'm very, very upset about that. But I understand you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, it was a good time. I went in on Thursday. It's normally a 3-day show, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's normally the way they run it. And,
right.
you know, we had our press credentials to go. And, you know, I've just been so busy. And it really was kind of a last-minute decision. Like, I had planned on going. And the only day that I was going to be able to go was Thursday, but I didn't even know if I was going to be able to go then.
Yeah, it was crazy. My mailbox was just full of probably about 40, 50 different
press releases and stuff,
companies with press releases and requests for interviews.
Yeah.
But it just, you know, this year was just kind of a mess. But at least you made it. So
yeah, well, that's the advantage.
At least,
I'm relatively close to New York, so for me to go in for a few hours or whatever, you know, really, it's just the commuting costs that I have to pay for. I mean, obviously, we get in with our press credentials, so there's no cost there. And got to tell you, man, they had a nice press swag bag this year.
Oh yeah,
yeah, lots of cool stuff, man. They
usually do a pretty good job.
Yeah, they got this. You know, they always give you a bag of some sort to put all your stuff.
Yeah, like a messenger bag or something like that.
Right. I mean, last year it was like a backpack. It was kind of cheap. The year before, we got really nice messenger bags. These gray messenger bags are all padded and stuff. They're a low pro bag.
Yeah.
Those were really nice. Well, this year was another low pro messenger bag, but it's a little on the thin side. There was no padding or anything, so it's not a real practical bag, I guess, for gear. You know, maybe good for
it's a freebie. It's something that they can slap their logo on and give it out to press. And the only thing that I'd have to say is if you're going to give press some type of swag, make sure it's good swag. Yeah. That they speak highly about the specific swag they received, and not that it's cheesy or chintzy, or just like a little ad kind of piece that's kind of whatever, because that does reflect on the company themselves. And I know that we've been doing this for many years now, and I know that sometimes you'll see some really good stuff, and then other times you see stuff that it's like, you know, please don't go and print 5,000 pens with your logo on it and then give out the pens inside here, because you know that's not really too much goodwill there. I mean, people will be like, what? I mean, this one
ends up going to the kids and stuff. You know, I get home and the kids are looking through my bag and they're like, oh, I want. One company gave these folding sunglasses, and I'm like, what am I going to do with those? You know, so my daughter's like,
blue blockers,
them.
Man.
You know,
yeah, the blue blockers or little 3D glasses or something. You can go use in a movie or something. Yeah, I know when we went to Vegas, I think it was a few years back. There was a lot of amazing swag that was given out. I think what was it, WPPI? I think it was.
Yeah, WPPI in Vegas. Yeah, we got some good stuff there. So you know, it really depends. I did get a really nice hard box though. This is Nanook. It's a 903 hard plastic box, and it's a kind with the O-ring in it, so you can seal it down real tight. It's waterproof and all that stuff. I mean, it's a smaller box. You're not going to fit a DSLR in there, but it's good for little gear or, a mirrorless or something like that to put in there. So that was really nice. I mean, that was probably a $50 box or so, I would say.
Right. And it has a little pressure seal too, right? So you can take it on a plane and balance pressure and whatnot, right?
Yeah. So that's really cool. So, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, aside from the fact I had to hump around an extra 10 pounds of stuff with me all day. I mean, my shoulders weren't real happy about that. But
yeah, I know the last show I gave basically all of my stuff away to one of the show listeners.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to carry it, nor do you want to have to trek it back on the plane. So
yeah, we met with a really great guy, and I just basically gave him everything. I just didn't want to schlep it around, like you said. So, but that's good. At least you're in there. So let's hear it.
Yeah.
What say you? How was it? What did you see?
Well, so I mean, first off, the day started kind of crazy because I didn't get out of here until late. I had stuff I had to get done in the morning, some unexpected stuff. Again,
yeah, you had a ferry issue, right?
Yes, yeah. So I get over to the ferry. So what I do is I drive over to the Weehawken ferry. Anybody from the area knows where I'm talking about. And hop the ferry, take it over. It dumps you out right in front of the Javits Convention Center. And you walk 5 minutes and you're in the front doors. It's great. So it's a beautiful fall day. It's cool, but it's bright and sunny. And I don't know, man, maybe people are just not paying attention, but I'm sitting at the light. I'm like ready to turn in by the ferry. I'm in the turning lane, and this woman is next to me in the going straight lane. We're both stopped. The light turned green. We both started moving a little bit, and this dude comes flying up behind her. I don't know. I guess he saw the green light while he was texting on his phone.
Yeah, he was texting.
Slammed into the back of this woman. Did not even apply brake. I didn't even hear any squealing. All I heard was a loud crash. I look over, dude's airbags blow all over the place and stuff. And I mean, she gets out.
Yeah, just ball that up and throw that away. That's gone.
And, and I'm thinking, oh, this is a bad omen. Let me just get over in my parking spot, get on that boat before I get in a wreck or something, But so that was kind of a strange start to the
That's
day.
how it started.
Yeah. But made it over on the boat, got up there, got my swag bag, got my press pass, and got into the show. And
you met with our favorite guy, right?
Yeah. I met with one of our great PR agents. He's a really great guy. He's given us a lot of great information over the years and stuff. So 2 meetings that I set up with him were one was with Alien Skin. So maybe you guys are familiar. They make software products for manipulating, enhancing your imagery. And
for many years.
Yep. They've been doing it for a long time, and they came out with new Exposure 7 is their latest update, and basically Exposure simulates film effects. So some of the grains, some of the discoloration, some of the things that you would get through film, that's what this software does.
Right.
It's an effects software. So what's nice about it is a standalone, as well as a Lightroom and Photoshop plugin. So that really is good. And I actually talked to them about the whole Creative Cloud thing, and the fact that Lightroom right now is still able to be purchased as a standalone, but if down the road that changes and it becomes part of Creative Cloud, there may be some people that just don't want to go the Creative Cloud route. And
I agree 100%. I think a lot of folks are going to look for alternative to Lightroom and this type of thing. There's been many others that we've talked about in the recent weeks, and I'm going to get with the company hopefully today, tomorrow, sometime soon to be able to test another type of alternative also to Lightroom. Not that I don't like Lightroom because I make plugins for Lightroom. I do like it.
Sure.
The problem is just because I like it, that doesn't mean that everyone is willing to spend the money to get it. And I want to, as time goes by, be able to offer you guys other alternatives to Lightroom if you want to just make a single purchase and then still be able to get plugins like, for example, mine that I create that help you guys out, and not have to use Lightroom if you don't want that subscription model. Because I know there's a lot of blowback with this whole entire subscription model. People don't.
All these developers are seeing it too, and they're getting the rumblings as well. Because as I'm talking about this, they're all shaking their heads like, in agreement. So they get it. They know.
Yeah. So we'll see. It looks interesting. Exposure 7. We'll let you know. How it goes.
Yep. If you're an Exposure,
but like I said, Alien Skin's been around forever.
They have.
I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah, and basically they did make a point of saying that if you're already an Exposure 6 user, you will be able to upgrade to Exposure 7 as a free upgrade. So that's pretty cool.
For a grand total of nothing.
Yes.
So that's can't beat that. That's for sure.
So then I met with another client of his by a company by the name of Phottix. It's Phottix.
Right.
They've been around for like 7 years. They make flash heads. They make flash controllers, studio lighting and everything. But, they make flash triggers similar to Pocket Wizard. But the idea behind their gear is that it all works together. The flash controllers controls all of their flash units. You can plug your own speedlights into it. It'll control those. But it all works together. It's like a cohesive type of environment where, a lot of these flash trigger companies, that's what they make. They just make the triggers. They don't actually make the flashes. They just make them work, with all the different flashes. So they kind of have a one-stop solution. But their new thing that they're really excited about was this studio head that they have. It's the Indra 500.
This looks interesting for sure.
It does, yeah. So I mean, it's a smaller unit that you could take on location. You can get it with a battery pack or with AC adapter for in studio. It syncs at 1/8,000th of a second, which Joe, I know you said that's really pretty fast, right?
Yeah, it's unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're doing microburst, which I'm sure they are, but unless you're doing microburst, you can't get that. That's crazy. I mean, just think about your camera guys. I mean, what are you doing? 200, 250, 320, 300 the most. They're just not syncing that quick. And then if you get a Hasselblad for 30,000, you're lucky to hit, 250.
Yeah.
So it's they're obviously doing something like a high speed, like a Canon or Nikon would do when it's doing micro bursts to be able to get that 8,000th. I mean, but that's crazy. You're capturing, at that kind of speed. That's just awesome. I mean, this is the type of stuff that you want to see when you're doing slow motion stuff. You're doing water droplets. You're doing smoke. You're doing like things that you really want things to be captured extremely, extremely quickly, without any kind of motion blur. That's what you need. So that looks very interesting. It's not cheap though, right?
No, it's $1,200. So you are paying for some gear, but it definitely feels like a good build quality. I mean,
it's solid. Right?
It doesn't feel like cheap plastic or anything. It's a metal housing and everything. It is really nice. It's got an LED modeling light, which is fairly bright. So you do get more of what you see is what you're going to get type of thing from it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm not a big flash user, and Joe, if you were there, you probably could have related to this product a lot more.
Yeah.
You probably would have been able to ask some other questions and all, but I did find out these products are made in Hong Kong. They're made in China, but they are not like private labeled. They're not some generic piece of stuff that they're just putting their name on. They do. I mean, this is a real company. They do their own R&D. They do their own development there. So, that to me is important because I want to know that the company's going to be there and be there to back their product.
Yeah, they're stating about it, and they're doing different iterations to it. And if there's any kind of problem, they can fix it, and then in the next model that comes out, that could be kind of corrected. So that's cool. I understand also the big thing this year, and we predicted this 6 months ago. The big thing this year is those wonderful flying drones. Right, that was pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, when we were at PhotoPlus last year, we saw a bunch of guys displaying this equipment, but now
a bunch was not that many, but this year there was a ton, right?
Yeah, there really was, and now it's all moving to the next level. I mean, last year it was about slapping a GoPro on a little camera and flying it around, or
now you have like small nuclear devices that you're hanging from at 15 pounds a piece or so, and then it can actually carry it around, or 12 pounds a piece. These monsters.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, now the equipment is advanced a full year. I mean, the drones are bigger. They're more powerful. They can heavier payloads. They have, gimbal heads, things
up to 1 mile range, Trev. What is that? I don't know. I don't even know how that's even possible.
Yeah. So
I don't know what
DJI,
frequency they're on. What are they doing?
They've got this thing. It's called the Light Bridge. It's a digital video downlink. And this thing is really cool. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been cobbling together Wi-Fi solutions that, stream to your phone or something like that. And, they get more than 50 feet away and the signal drops, and it's pointless. It doesn't work. So they came out with this equipment. It's really neat. And it's got like you said, a range of like 1 mile. It does full HD 1920 by 1080. At 60 frames per second.
Yeah, I don't know how they get the 60 frames through this thing.
Yeah.
To me, that is a bizarre number, having that type of distance and getting 60. I could see, 10 frames, 15 frames, right. Something like that. But 60 frames, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know.
Crazy. It's got dual video inputs and encrypted transmission. So you don't have to worry about somebody, hanging out in the, some kid with some receiver, grabbing your video signal from the plane. So that's cool.
Right.
iOS and Android are supported for video monitoring as well, which again, really cool. The DJI Phantoms. I mean, you've seen them on B&H. I mean, the unit itself looks about the same. It's just now they've got this added capability with this
stronger, more distance.
Yeah, with this light,
more powerful.
Really neat. They've been around for a while. A lot of people are using them. So, if you're thinking about getting into the drone space, definitely check out DJI. Pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. All right, guys, listen, we have a lot more to come from Trevor here from PhotoPlus Expo this year. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and hear from one of our sponsors.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener.
All right, so we're back. And to kind of continue with PhotoPlus Expo and these drone things, there was another company there called FreeFly, and they had this copter. I mean, it's not even a quadcopter; it's an octocopter.
It's a military device.
Yeah, I mean, this thing was sick. It's called a SynStar. It's got 8 arms coming out, 8 props on it. This thing has a 12-pound cargo capacity, so you can put like a nice big camera on this baby. They actually had a Blackmagic cinema camera attached to this thing in their
like
display.
on a gimbal or something, on some type of It's amazing.
It's really crazy. I mean, and nothing like this was there last year. They had
Definitely
some
not.
indie type of copters there last year, but this really kind of takes it to the next level. I mean, this is like industrial looking stuff,
Right.
They also had this, I guess the best way to describe it is an RC monster truck that was probably about 30 inches wide. I mean, this thing
so it's like a
huge. The tires on it were probably like 6 inches tall or more. And it had this monster rig on the top of it for strapping your camera into it, again, with the gimbal head. And this is all remote controlled. So you can have a driver, somebody who's driving the truck, and then somebody who's working the camera independently. Again, feeding the video signal back to the controller and stuff. I mean, really just sick stuff that they're doing now with this.
Yeah, I mean, great for like little shorts, doing like a little ad spot, let's say, for one of your clients, and you want to do some footage of, let's say, cars or moving or bikes or on a trail or, you know, any type of stuff like this. I mean, this is just, we would never, you know, we couldn't do this years ago.
No.
And to be able to, I'll tell you, to be able to strap on a DSLR in comparison and put any lens on it in comparison to a GoPro, I like it.
Oh, yeah.
And I like it a lot. To me, I feel that the GoPro look that everyone sees, you know, on the Today Show, on every, it doesn't matter where it is, you see the GoPro strapped on people's chests, on their heads, you know. I think that look is just, it's starting to get played out, to me at least.
Well, because it's been
the fisheye.
It's been done.
Well, it's done, and it's just that fisheye look where everything is just distorted.
Yep.
And I saw this video. Matter of fact, I think it was yesterday, and I think it was on the Sunday Show or something. Anyways, and the video was of this mountain scene, and they had a regular camera and they were panning through it. It was just absolutely tranquil, just absolutely beautiful. And then they used a GoPro. You could tell. I mean, it's just, you could just look at it, and everything is distorted. And the mountains are kind of like mushing and distorting as they're kind of panning over it. It's like it just doesn't look nice. It just doesn't look like. I feel like I'm looking like I'm a fish.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't care for it. I mean, it feels like it's getting a little old hat. It feels like it's a little bit 2012. You know, I think it's time to move on. Either GoPro needs to flatten this thing out and maybe lessen the width on it and not be so wide, or something. They need to do something with it.
Well, I think it's the people who are looking to make commercials or little featurettes need to step up their game, is what it is.
Yeah.
They need to get into more, you know, expensive equipment, you know, higher quality equipment. You know, the GoPro is always going to have their own market for that, action stuff.
Go anywhere, you know, be anywhere.
So that, I mean, I don't think GoPro necessarily needs to do it, but I think the photographers that are using the equipment need to.
I would like to see them come up with an alternative. So they have that action camera that you strap onto your head, but then maybe they have a little bit better model that gives you a little bit more flat plane of view.
Yeah, and that really is still, you know, the optics, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. You wouldn't be as wide, but that's okay. You know, you'd still be able to go anywhere, but then you'd have a narrow field of view. But still, it would just look so much nicer. So, anyways, GoPro, you listening? Just something that you can kind of put down in the pipe, write on a piece of paper or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, that's cool. Monster truck, 30 inches long, gimbal, you know, the whole 9 yards. Drive around. You got two drivers, one driving, one controlling the camera, feeding back to the main source. It is cool. You know, what I saw them, you know, they had some sample videos running at the booth. And what's kind of interesting, they're using this monster truck almost as a replacement for a slider. Yeah, sure. They were doing some really cool stuff. They were showing some kids, like little kids playing and running around a house. And basically the camera being at floor level, following them around. And it's the type of effect that you would get from a slider. But the large wheels give it enough cushioning so that you don't get any type of abrupt vibration or movement. So it would be almost like a slider, very, very smoothly. I can see sliders being more remote control these days. I can see that, you know, where we will have that functionality where we're not having to slide it by hand. So, I mean, we have sliders here in the studio, but you're actually sliding it by hand, and whoever's doing it, you want them to do every shot because they know by just the feel of it how fast they're sliding it. Right. You know, you have two people doing it. You got one going slow, one going. It just doesn't mesh. But having one guy do it is a lot better. And having this, where it's remote control doing it, you have that exact amount of time. Exactly. You have that nice control to be able to get some amazing images. So, yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, kind of following along with the whole video theme here, you know, obviously we know 4K video is becoming like the next big thing. Where you see a lot more TV commercials for Ultra HD TVs. We talk, it seems like every week we're talking about another camera that shoots 4K video. The new iMac that just came out with the 5K screen resolution for editing 4K video. All of this stuff, it was apparent at the show.
There is a lot more cinema lenses at the Canon booth.
Sure.
A lot more really moving in the direction of this high-end 4K video. And my understanding is that NAB this year, 2015, the show's in April, I believe, they're actually going to have a whole pavilion dedicated to these drones. And that place is going to be loaded with 4K stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely where things are moving for sure when it comes to video. Absolutely.
NAB, we might be there.
Yeah. We're kind of in the talks about that right now. So interesting.
Yeah.
So there was this new web service there that I found interesting. I'll kind of give you a rundown and then we'll share some thoughts about it. It's called Mylio.com. It's MYLIO. It's short for My Life Organized. This is what the guys told me.
Right.
Looking at their demonstrations and talking to the reps at the booth, me personally, I get a feeling that this is a replacement for iPhoto or for the new Photos app that's coming out. It is Mac and Windows compatible. They have an iOS version, and they will have an Android version available in spring of 2015.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a nice interface. It's very clean. It's really good. It feels like a really well developed product.
Yeah, it's like polished.
It's very polished, and they're a startup, and they were launching it and announcing it basically at PhotoPlus Expo. So that got the wheels
kind of
turning
weird.
A little bit.
Yeah, and it's a startup with, as I understand, 30 employees. I never heard of a startup like that. That's usually not
something like this. It's like three dudes sitting at a dining room table with some laptops, slugging away and programming, and coming up with ideas and stuff. So
exactly.
So I asked them,
and hiring a receptionist, and that's about it.
Yeah. So I asked them. I mean, this is what we do. We're kind of reporters, right?
Sure.
And so I said,
loosely,
you seem pretty well fleshed out here. Which is kind of unique for a small startup. And, the one guy said, well, we've been really fortunate with our financial backers. And I said, oh, really? And he says, we've got a lot of Microsoft, higher ups who have invested in this company, one of which is Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
And I said,
oh,
Bill
really?
Gates. So that really started the gears turning a little bit more. And I didn't say much more to them about this up front. But, Joe, you and I have been talking about this kind of off the air here. And,
Yeah, it smells. It smells.
Yeah, there's
something is just odd here. It's not the norm.
No, it's not the norm.
You see Bill Gates backing a startup. The startup feels very much like iPhoto-esque type of thing. It almost feels like Microsoft, or through Bill Gates as the party, let's say he's not there anymore, but whatever, is backing a company to do X, Y, and Z, so they don't have to, and then once they're done with it, they can take it over and purchase it
and roll it out.
But they don't have their name on it or something. Do you know what I'm saying? It has that feeling of that. It's almost like a petri dish. We're gonna okay. You know what? We're gonna throw you a whole bunch of money. We think this is a really good idea. You go ahead and do it. And they're just like, yeah. When you're done, we're just gonna buy you.
Throwing a whole bunch of money at it is an understatement. I mean, New York City, Jacob Javits Convention Center. It is very expensive to run a booth there.
We've had a few booths there.
I mean, a simple 10 by 10 stripped down booth is like what, $7,000?
Yeah, time you're done, it's like 10.
Yeah, when you throw in electricity and all the other BS that goes along with it.
God forbid you want carpet, guys.
Yeah. Well, this booth was like a 20 by 20, okay? They had a stage with a podium and a big screen, a couple big screen panels. Actually, the big screen panels were tiled together to make it even bigger video
Even bigger.
All right?
Yeah.
They're up there doing live demonstrations. They got a PA. They've got little kiosks set up with computers and screens and all these people that are reps there. They have seating there so people can sit down and watch the presentations. This is not the norm for a startup. I mean, a startup has a 10 by 10. They've got a little table with a tablecloth on it, and a couple brochures and a banner hanging behind them. you know.
Yeah.
So they've got some money.
Yeah, they
here.
threw 20-30 grand into this easy.
Yeah,
all day
absolutely.
long.
So there was some bucks going in there. It really makes me wonder, and I you know, their name, they're getting it out there. Not only in the press releases, I've been seeing it. It's been coming up talking to other industry professionals.
Right.
You know, Mylio, blah blah blah, and it just that's not the norm. That's not the norm. They're on a mission for sure.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to keep kind of abreast with it, but I think we can say it here and now and say, listen, guys, I don't know, something feels kind of odd with this Mylio. Very interesting, but we're definitely going to keep up with it and let you know how it all pans out, because something is.
I mean, the product is not odd. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the product is very nice, and it does cloud backups and syncing and all this great stuff. I mean, it's very much in a photos, iCloud, synchronization on all your devices type of competitor. It just feels like it's another party trying to make a stab at the same space.
Right, but with a very large, you know, with a large stick.
With a large stick, and that's why when I heard that Microsoft, the bells kind of went off, and I'm like,
especially Bill Gates himself.
Yeah, this could be an indirect play for Microsoft to try and take a stab at the photo storage and manipulation space, which they haven't really done well in the past. So.
Yeah, so guys, I'm kind of moving forward. I like the iDrives. I like this type of backup, and I know you, Trevor, you just absolutely love the Drobos and been a proponent of the Drobos for many, many years. Yep. But I understood you had like a little kind of issue there this year, and you were kind of talking with them a little bit with their FTP alternative, quote unquote, very lightly quoted.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So what happened there, Trev? What happened?
Saying that I was a little annoyed is an understatement. Last year at PhotoPlus Expo, Joe and I were both there. We met with the Drobo guys. We had a great conversation. They had a new product called the Transporter. Yep. And, talking to the reps, they're like, oh, this is what it does, blah, blah, blah. And I said, wow.
And we spoke about this on the show when you bought that, matter of fact, a year ago. So
I told them, I said, so this could be like an FTP alternative that I could use with my clients and for them to share files with me to share files with them. Oh, yeah, you could do that, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So they had a great deal running. I purchased the thing. It was like $200 when all said and done, let's say. It was a deal through Adorama. Got it home, kind of sat on the shelf for a little while until I finally got around to doing something with it. I had a need. I needed to get some files to somebody, and I'm like, well, you know what? Let me set this up, see if this will work.
Yeah.
This interface is so kludgy and clunky that it's very difficult for the average person, the average client, to get connected to this thing. I mean, I was able
guys, I actually tried this, guys, myself with Trevor, to see if how it is for someone that, I mean, I'm a system administrator. I mean, I should be able to do this, no problem, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this thing was just a hot mess.
It is a hot mess.
I mean, just the amount of stuff that you have to go through to get connected and downloading stuff to your computer, like applications and stuff. It's like, are you kidding me?
No.
I actually never connected with Trevor with this unit because I refused to download this program onto my computer just to access his computer. It was just the way it was set up, and then all of these checks and balances going on, and you had to do this, but you had to do that, but you had to do this first, but don't do that just yet, and then you need a code and your password, and I'm like,
you got to create an account.
There's no way you're Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, normal, everyday client that you deal with that barely knows, what a website is, let alone what they want.
Right.
You want, what they want you to want for them. They're never going to be able to do this.
Never. No.
And so did you ever get this up and running at all?
Yeah, no. So, well, I got it working with another one of my clients, but it was a 30-minute process.
That's
total
ridiculous.
BS. I would never try and get any of my clients on this thing. Talking to the rep this year, who obviously was much more knowledgeable, and as I'm telling him about this, he's shaking his head no. Like, no, that's not going to work that way. No, it's
right,
not.
Right.
It's not really intended for your average end client. No. It's really more into basically what it comes down to. It's intended for internal use. Hook this thing up. Hook all your computers to it. Hook all your iPhones and your Androids to it. Sync all of your stuff. You get it up and running internally. Now, wherever you go, you'll have access to these files. All right, that's great. Had it been sold to me that way, I wouldn't have spent $200.
No, because you could do this. There's 10 other alternatives that wouldn't cost that.
That's right. So exactly. I was a little annoyed. But with that said, the transporter is an awesome product for doing just that. Setting it up internally, having this basically, air quotes, cloud of your own that you can have access to store files on, to share files, to sync files to, have it on all your devices. You could use this like in iCloud in order to back your iPhone photos up to this Drobo as opposed to dumping them up on iCloud or whatever. But needless to say, not too thrilled about that. No apologies from Drobo either. Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that. I thought that they would kind of come back and say, "Listen, we're sorry. Is there something that we can do or whatever?" Yeah, especially since I never was really.
But there was no offer. Obviously, it was more like, you were sold a bag of BS, is what it was.
Yeah, exactly. So one of our past advertisers, Shootproof, you got to speak with them, I understand.
Yes. The guys from Shootproof were at the show. Awesome. Great guys. I really do like their product, and I really do believe in what these guys
and
are
I
doing.
like them. Nice people.
We wouldn't have had them on as a sponsor and an advertiser if we didn't believe in what they did. And, I really do like their product. I like the presentation of their product. I like the galleries that you can get from their product for sharing with your customers. So just chatted with them a little bit. They've got some stuff they did in the back end. They did a rework of the back end. They've got some new features rolling out at the beginning of the year that he really couldn't talk about right now. But WPPI in Vegas, they're going to be there, and I'm sure we're going to hear all about them at that point. Good guys, and if you guys are looking for a service, and they're not paying us for me saying this or anything, but if if you're looking for a client gallery management software, and they do print product fulfillment through partners, like Bay Photo and stuff, definitely check them out. I like those guys. Colin over there is he's more like the business guy, and Rob is one of the developers, and I spoke with both of them, and they're both really good guys. They're young guys, and they got it together. They've made I've heard a lot of rumblings about them in the professional community as well. Shootproof has definitely been coming up in a lot more conversations. So they're definitely doing it right, and they're making some waves and getting noticed. So.
Yeah, kudos to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad. I'm so happy for them.
Yes.
So all right, listen, we need to get out of here.
Yes, that was pretty much my experiences for PhotoPlus Expo 2014.
Yeah, PPE.
Yes,
absolutely. NYC. So we'll see. We'll see what happens at the beginning of the year, where we're going, what are we going to do. So we'll see. We have some options, right?
That's right. All right, man. Let's go. Let's get out. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, and that's @Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H.
Great. And you can connect with me on Twitter. It's @TrevorCurrent.
All right, everybody, we are out of here for yet another week. You can get all the show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/169. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/dphotocafe. And we will see you next week.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Current and Joseph Christina. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with any compatible device by visiting youtube.com/dphotocafe. Be sure to subscribe to our audio feed through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox Music apps, or through RSS. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your host.